everyone, this is Anna Finch from Finch Press Publishing. So today's video is a book review as well. So today I'll be reviewing Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. This book has it's about 30 years old. I know it's older than me, so it's about 30 plus years old. But the story itself, some of the issues are still relevant. So I thought I'd talk about it, especially considering in 2019 a series based on this book was made. Now, if you haven't watched Good Omens, the series on Amazon, even if you don't have access to Amazon, you can buy the book or buy the series. I do recommend it. It's very good. So, story-wise, so basically Good Omens is basically about an angel and a demon who have an arrangement, capital letters by the way, the arrangement, where they are trying to divert what happens with Armageddon. So basically you start the story and you find out that the demon Crowley has been asked to basically hand over the Antichrist to a bunch of satanic nuns. And he was in a rush. He didn't really like doing the job. What follows is a comedy of errors. So this book is like a parody of the movie Omens. Yeah, the one with, I think, Damien, Devil Kid. It's a horror film. I've never watched it, but it's like a parody of Omens. And it's basically a comedy of errors. Something goes wrong, so he takes the kid to a bunch of satanic nuns, comes back, the angel, Aziraphale, and Crowley, basically, who already have an arrangement, basically make a deal. Let's try and work both sides, make sure the world doesn't end. We like this world too much for it to end. I do too. But a whole bunch of errors happen because something goes wrong at the beginning, and it's like a domino effect. One thing leads to another. Everything's going wrong. They don't know what's happening. Armageddon arrives. It's like the horsemen are riding. Oh my god. Okay. And it's hilarious. I loved it. The comedy in this. Now, there is some language in this that I don't find appropriate, but it's based on the time period it's written in. This was considered suitable at the time, that particular language that it really had issues in. There is some homophobic language, but the homophobic language is directed to one of the characters, who's basically non-binary. He uses the pronouns he, but gender-wise, he doesn't have a gender. He presents himself as male, but doesn't have a gender. Not really. But he uses the pronouns he. So he uses the pronouns he. He sees himself as mainly male, but gender-wise, he's not a man, he's not a woman, he's an angel. So I think he's non-binary. So there is some homophobic language directed towards him, but that language is more, it fits in with the context and the time period that this is set in, as well as when it was written. Again, it's connected to a particular character, and it's connected to the way the character develops. So it's not in there for no reason. It is connected to the character and how he grows. He does become more confident, and he basically stands up for himself, and empowered him. So it's not in there for no reason. I don't find that language appropriate. and I don't like the use of that language, but context-wise, it appeared in other works written at that time. So, now for the other part of the review. Now, as a piece of literature, it is well written. It's eloquent. It's interesting. So the storyline, the plot, the overarching plot is interesting. The characters themselves, now it's written from multiple perspectives. Now it is in third person, but it shifts perspectives. So it shifts from the perspectives of Aziraphale and Crowley, the angel and the demon, to the perspective of them. So this is the group of kids with the Antichrist, to the Witchfinder General, Shadwell. It also, and Madame Tracy, who's also in that particular point of view. You've got the perspectives of Newton Pulsifer and Anathema, the witch. And you've also got short perspectives from the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and I believe a couple of humans who are also like the human versions of the Horsemen. So there are multiple points of view. So you're seeing it from stories moves between these different points of view. So you see what happens with the angels and the demons when they in a particular point, and you see what happens with the Antichrist and his friends. Same point in time, different place, different characters. So you can see the whole story. You've basically got like a bird's eye view of the whole thing. Rather than from one person and following one person's point of view, you follow multiple. You see what happens to these characters, you get to know them, you get to like them. Now, me personally, I found the perspectives of Aziraphale and Crowley to be the most engaging and the most interesting. The angel and the demon and their interactions with other angels and demons were the most interesting part of the story for me. I was more engaged in their story than the Witchfinder General. The sections of the story in the perspective of Adam, in the perspective of the Antichrist and the them, was also engaging and interesting. The perspective of the Witchfinder General Shadwell and Madame Tracy, I could have done without. I wasn't as interested in their story. I mean, they were relevant characters to the overall story. They were relevant. But I wasn't overly interested in their story. Newton Pulsifer and Anathema. Newton, Pulsifer, and Anathema are good characters. But again, I was more interested in them, the Antichrist, and the angel and the demon more than I was in the human characters. With the human characters or the way they're developed, but again, more interested in the non-human characters. For me, they were the most interesting and engaging. So, literature-wise, I do recommend this book. This book is amazing from start to finish. Characters are engaging. The storyline's interesting. It's hilarious. If you like comedy, you're definitely going to like this. Okay? If you like supernatural sort of stories, again, you're going to like this. As a piece of literature, reading it for enjoyment, I'm actually rereading it again. So I loved it. As a text to be studied, now this is as a secondary text or even as a university text, you can use it. It can work. But I would use this more for senior levels, so year 10 and up. So these are like 15, 16-year-olds plus, or for university rather than the junior levels. While the story is engaging for the younger levels, there is language that is more difficult. So while the language is fairly easy to understand, there are words in here that students will not understand in the lower year levels. Okay, so if you do use this as a text for English, then I would use it for the senior levels only. You could study it based on context, and it can be interesting that way. So as a piece of literature, I would give it an 8 out of 10. As a text for the curriculum, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. There are resources for it to be used in that way, but again, it's probably not suitable for the younger year levels. If you did like this video, please leave a thumbs up and press the subscribe button below if you want to be notified of when I upload more videos. See you next time.